Hello, and welcome to the Dentistry Library website video series, where we teach you how to navigate the Dentistry Library website and how to perform a number of different tasks. In this video, we're going to be looking at how to order an item from another university. Let's start at the Dentistry Library homepage. So you want to scroll down until you see this section titled Using the Library. Then, near the bottom of this panel, you will see a button labeled Requesting Items from Other Institutions. That's the one you want to click. On this page, you want to scroll down until you see a section titled Place a Request. You can submit a request through RACER, otherwise known as Rapid Access to Collections by Electronic Requesting. So let's go ahead and open that. Now, before you proceed, you're going to have to sign in. Your user ID in this case is going to be the number under your barcode on your T-card, and your password will be your UTOR ID. And then finally, your library, of course, will be Toronto. Once you've logged in, you will have to click Blank Request Form here on the left-hand side of the screen. Now that we're on the blank request form, we want to go ahead and fill the information on this form as completely as possible. Please note that the red fonted sections are mandatory and that the black ones are optional, but it's probably a good idea to fill them out anyways, just to help the person on the other end who's fulfilling the order help find your item to the best of their ability. So let's say that we're looking for an article. Now, under format, you can actually change article to a number of different items, as you can actually request a number of different types of resources in different formats. So in this case, let's say that we are indeed looking for an article. And let's say it's this article that we found on PubMed, titled Incidence of Post-Obturation Pain Following Single and Multi-Visit Root Canal Treatment in a Teaching Hospital of Bangladesh. Let's say that this resource is not available through the University of Toronto catalog, and that as a result, we're going to use the Interlibrary loan service to request it from another institution. So what we want to do is to fulfill these sections to the best of our ability. So to start, we want to first get the title of the journal, which we can find here. Just as a note, it's a good idea that when you're writing out the title of the journal, that you write it out completely as opposed to using abbreviations. And this would, of course, be the title of the paper. Find the authors here. This paper was published, as we can see, in April 2014. Volume and issue would be 23 and 2, as you can see here. This article spans the following pages in the journal. Under additional information, you may notice that this item is not needed after field here at the bottom of the blank request form. By default, the date entered here is 2 months after the request has been placed. What this basically means is that the request will not be fulfilled after this date. This is to let the librarians on the other end know that you only need this request by a certain date, and that after this date, they are free to cancel the request. So let's say, for example, that you had an assignment due on August 2nd, 2021, and that you no longer needed the resource by this date. You can let the librarians know this here so that they do not need to fulfill a request by the time that you no longer require the resource. Please also note that charges may apply when placing a request, but in most cases, requests for dental journals are indeed free of charge. Nonetheless, under special instructions, you can indicate if you'd be willing to pay charges or not, and how much you'd be willing to pay. So let's say, for example, that you were not willing to pay any charges for placing a request. You could just indicate that here. You could say, for example, I am not willing to pay any charges for this request. And let's say that you are willing to pay pay a charge for a request. You can indicate a sort of maximum amount that you'd be willing to pay. So, for example, I'd be willing to pay $10 at maximum for this request. Okay, and lastly, you can specify what campus library you would like to pick up the resource. So St. George, which is the Toronto Robarts Library, the Toronto Mississauga Library, the University of Toronto Mississauga Library, and of course the University of Toronto Scarborough Library. Now that we've filled out the request form, we can go ahead and hit the request button. You should receive an email after placing a request with additional steps and any other pertinent information. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching.